Hello, subscribers and visitors. It's Itai Suave again. Today's topic is religion. We have guests, of course.
Silverisco.
Doug, aka Mr. Silver Spoon.
You may recognize them, they've been guests before. And today we're going to talk about religion. So, first off, I'll say, what religion are you guys?
I'm not religious.
You're not religious, but you're here on a Prince Crew episode about religion, yeah?
Well, yeah, just because I have a perspective on it. But yeah, it's a bit convoluted. But I'll let Doug.
I'm Christian, but I'm not religious. I'll explain that. I'll touch on that a little bit later on. What I mean by that.
Oh, and Jermaine, what faith are you, if you're any?
I'm an ex-church boy.
Okay, ex-church boy, whatever that means, I guess.
I used to be a Christian, that's all.
Oh, you're ex-Christian?
Yeah. I'm no longer a Christian, but I believe in God heavily. Sometimes I question it, but not for no bad reason, just because God it's just so vast, that idea. So yeah, I'm still seeking,
Yeah, so I'm a believer in God, but I don't follow religion. I don't believe in religion. I think religion is a powerful concept that can be used to control people and causes more harm than good to humanity. And you?
So I'm the opposite of you guys. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in religion. Yeah. So religion, it obviously exists. People are religious. They do things based on religion. What year is it? 2019. Based on of religion, not of anything else. That's not how old the world is or how old humans have been around or whatever. So we do things in our lives that a lot of it is based off religion, and a lot of religion is based off of paganism, which is like nature and stuff like that. So I understand that religion exists and its significance and how it makes people's lives better. Obviously there's bad things about it as well, whatever, but in terms of, that's why I say I'm not a part of any religion. It's like supporting a football team. Like, some people don't support football teams, they just like watching football. It doesn't mean that they think anything bad of it. It's the same thing with me and religion.
So you said once again you're Christian. Exactly. Well, you don't follow religion. You're not. You believe in religion.
I believe in religion, that people believe in religion. I don't think people are fake. I don't think religion is fake. It's a real thing. I'm saying I don't believe in the religious God. I don't think God is a real thing. I'm saying that I don't subscribe to any of those religions. They just exist, and I'm happy to exist with them. I'm happy they exist as well, but I'm just not some people support Man U, some people support Arsenal. You don't have to support them to acknowledge that they exist, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Yes.
You're kosher with religion. Do you accept other people's beliefs and faiths and respect them?
Yeah, but that's just in general. Some people live their life based on their faith and religion and stuff like that, and some people don't. Either way, I still respect them, and do you know what I mean?
Are you the same as well, Douglas?
No, I'm Christian. However, I'm not religious. What I mean by that is my belief is based on faith and experiences, instead of say what somebody tells me, if that makes sense. Because that's what I believe. Personally, I believe that's what religious is. You base your beliefs on what someone else teaches you or someone else tells you or whatnot. But whereas I'm slightly different. So I am Christian. I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus, and that. But my faith is not based on what a preacher tells me or what somebody in that position tells me. It's based on my own experiences, on what I think who God is, and my own relationship with God.
So your religion is based on your own personal relationship with God, not what anyone tells you.
Yes.
Just your own understanding of that religion, and you don't take any influence from any other preacher or any other Christians. Yes.
It's not like I don't take any influence. It's it's more to do with let's say for a preacher, for example. Yeah, every preacher has their own doctrine, and they have their own imprint. Sorry, the mic is too close. They have their own imprint on what they believe Christianity is, and that's where I think is the problem. You have to discover it for yourself and develop your own personal relationship, and then follow someone else's. Because what Nathan might get from the Bible is what I might not get. And if I go by what he gets, then that's where I see the grey area. So that's what I mean by it.
And Jermaine, the ex-church boy.
Yeah.
I left church because I think I would say try to experience God through other people and not for myself. So I think due to after getting christened and not christened, baptized, being saved and born again and all that, I think after a series of a whole bunch of events, my whole idea of Christianity was shattered, and I left church. I still believed in God, but I don't think I believed in people in church because of their true human nature. Because I think it's important to talk about the imperfections of man a lot more. Yeah, we talk about how Jesus is perfect and all that, but my question is, do people in church truly understand God, and do they truly understand Jesus and what he truly did? And I know some churches do emphasize to read the Bible for ourselves, which is good, because I think this is something we should all learn for ourselves. If you're in Christianity or if you're a Muslim or whatever religion you're in, to seek the religion for yourself. And obviously people from different time areas, different age groups are gonna view religion differently based on their culture and the traditions and whatnot. So I think leaving church for me was probably one of the best decisions ever for me personally, so that I could discover God for myself.
So just a quick question about it. So you've left church, or have you left or renounced Christianity? Because those are two different things. So have you left the church, or have you left Christianity?
I just call myself Jermaine, because the reason is I'll let you know. The reason is because if people are going to, for me, in my opinion, if people are going to get to know the nature of God, to know that essence of God, I don't want to be labeled as a Christian, because already this world has such a negative stigma on Christianity, and they won't be able to see that true nature of God because of the negative stigma Christianity has.
I agree with that.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, once again, to use football as an analogy, like, just because like Doug supports Manchester United and I support Liverpool, so I'm going to be biased, do you know what I mean? And like, if you're a Christian, you're going to be biased in the world towards Christianity or Muslim or whatever, like, and it kind of shapes you outside of yourself. Like, there's not really much room for you to develop who you are as a person outside of those things. Like, a lot of people do, like, own their own selves and still call themselves, you know, Christians and Muslims, whatever, but there will be a lot of people that will say, no, you can't do that, that's wrong, you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, so you shouldn't be able to live your life the way you want, you have to live it by the book. What I've done. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Oh yeah, those are very positive intakes of religion. So for me myself, when it comes to religion, I was born into a Catholic household, but I never really connected with it. I'm not sure if maybe Catholicism just wasn't for me, or it's probably just religion as a whole. Because when I see religion, I look at it as a whole, like the past of the religion and the current, you know, the religious people around me. And the way I see religion, it does cause more harm than it does good. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm anti-religious, but I'm just wary of it, you know, cautious of it, cautious of the dangers. For example, the worst atrocities in humanity were in the name of religion. For example, and I'm not just talking about modern day, like, obviously there's Muslim extremists, you know, suicide bombers. I mean, I'm not even sure if they count as Muslim, because in the Quran it says you're allowed to destroy evil to protect innocence, but if you kill innocent people, then you're evil, and that's a whole contradictory. So it's debatable if the Muslim, quote-unquote Muslim extremists are even really Muslim. Now, further to that, I mean, Islam's not the first religion to be weaponized. For example, the Crusades, like, what was his name? The Pope Urban II.
Yeah.
He was the one that started the Crusades. He summoned Christian warriors to fight for the Crusades, and he even said that Christ that commanded it. and that those who died in the Crusades, whether it was on the journey there, they would have like eternal glory and blessings. So religion is it can be a tool to weaponize people, and you guys have like very open-minded spaces of religion, open-minded ideas of religion, so I don't think you're that naive to be manipulated, but other people are. And what would be your opinions on that?
I think it comes down, well, I don't know actually, but I think a lot of it has to do with God and people's ideas of God. And so people have taken religion and said, hey look, this is God's thing, so if you want to get access to God, the only way to get access to God is through religion. So because I don't like believe in God, that religion, the whole religion, like they could never say to me like, yeah man, if you kill all these people, if you do this or that, you know, you'll get closer to God. But if they were to tell me that, I can understand why people live their lives that way, because they're trying to access, you know, their godness, if you want to call it that. But I don't think I don't necessarily think religion is a bad thing. I don't think much things are, like, I don't look at things as good and bad. I look at them as they exist, and then we as people take them like fire. You know, you can burn a house down or you can cook a meal, like, and that's what people have done with religion, like you said, weaponized it. But I do think that religious people have done a lot of good, because, you know, in a lot of religions, charity is, you know, important, and selflessness, and, you know, Jesus sacrificing, you know, dying for our sins, and that, all that kind of stuff. Like, but I feel like if people didn't believe in God, then maybe things like, you know, you say the bad things, like, because he's like the ends to the means. I think that maybe you might see a bit of change, like, in people's attitudes.
Douglas and Jermaine?
I think it comes down to purpose. A lot of people don't actually know why we are here, and I'm not saying I do, but it's like, you see, when you don't know, when you have so many unanswered questions, you look to people that you believe may have these answers, and obviously that's a dangerous space to be in. Like Jermaine was saying, at the church, they could easily manipulate that, and like you said, like, it's easy, you could easily manipulate religion and turn it into a weapon or some sort. So like for example, the Crusaders, I can't remember exactly why that whole scenario started, but
it had to do with the Middle East, the Holy Lands. They were claimed by the Muslims, and Pope Urban II called on all Western countries, the whole of Christianity, to go to war and win back the Holy Lands. That was basically the start of the Crusades.
To win back the Holy Land. So that's something that was taken out of context as well. Like, I know it's in the scriptures about the Middle East, where this land was promised to the Jews, and Muslims believe that this land is theirs. But you could easily, but if you go further back, Islam and, is it Judaism? They're actually brothers. So it just shows how easy one person could take what they want and run with that to get what they want. So
me personally, there's a lot of things I don't know. I can only know what I've experienced. I'm ignorant to a whole bunch of things out there. I can't say I know this and that. And I think in church or any religion, I think we need to be honest about things and say, yeah, listen, I don't know about this and that. You know, I'm in the same boat as you. Especially to do with hierarchy, just because you're a pastor, deacon, or priest or whatnot, don't make yourself higher or better to be on anyone else. Don't put that heavy responsibility on your own shoulders, where people are coming to you with all their problems when you may have your problems. Now, I've been watching videos and stuff where pastors are coming out doing dodgy stuff, like Pastor John Gray. He cheated on his wife, and you know, there was an uproar about that.
Everyone knows about World War II and the kamikaze pilots, kamikaze fighters, because the reason why that happened is because with Shinto, the emperor is like a divine sovereign. He's like a god on earth. So he's like the one they worship and follow. Apparently, the Japanese emperor's line was created by a sun goddess some 1,000 years ago.
Amaterasu.
Yeah. You know the word. So basically, that's the government used that power to create, suicide bombers, Japanese suicide bombers. So there's been extremism all around the world when it comes to religion. So I believe that it's not just a religious aspect, it's a human aspect. That we have that evil and corruption within us to use religion. So are we capable of being trusted with religion? Like, can any human being be trusted in a high power of religion? Like, for example, the Emperor of Japan or the Pope or anyone?
Just a quick question, like, in terms of, like, do you think it was evil what they did? Because if, like, in Pearl Harbor, for example, where they were bombing the ships, that was their enemy. So as far as they're concerned, they were doing it on God's bit, like kamikaze. I think it means God's wins or something like that. Like, they felt like what they were doing was right and divine and righteous. All sides in any war have always used their religion to justify, like, killing and stuff like that. So I don't know if like, we decide whether something is evil usually as a reaction to something, but the motives of them doing it, I wouldn't say that they were evil, but they did any more or less evil than the two nukes that got dropped on them afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was that more justifiable, killing like over 200,000 people when all they did was blow up a few ships with their planes in a actual war, like, not innocent people.
Oh yeah, that's going political. Let's go political. We got to keep it on religion. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. All religions are used for propaganda purposes. All religion is natural. All controversies are used for propaganda purposes. All religions, anything you can do to convince as many people to rise up and fight for your cause. That's what you call, like, warfare marketing.
I was gonna say, can I ask you another question? Do you guys believe in paganism?
I personally do not believe in paganism because that's us placing something on a pedestal, if that makes sense. So I'm grabbing that tree over there and placing it there to worship it. To me, it doesn't make no logical sense. To me, I don't know if you.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I think somewhere in the Bible, it mentions about not seeing God as a certain image, because no man has seen or heard God. So how can we
Worshipping idols?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're trying to make an idea of who God is or what God is when we don't really know. So I mean, I'm aware people do it, and it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna say don't do that. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But there's a lot more to what we believe. Yeah.
Again, it comes down to that point when I said it's purpose. Like, people are looking for questions. Like, they're confused, so they will grab that piece of wood there and say, listen, I want to make a god out of this and I want to worship this, because they actually do not know why they're here or what their purpose in life is for. So,
like, people worship cows in some part of the world. Like, yeah, like, we might think that's stupid, but to them there might be a purpose for it. For example, like, so let's take the sun. Obviously, people worship the sun forever, and like, over time people were like, all right, we're going to worship the sun on this day, and we're going to have our own little thing, and then it turns into a cult, and then over years and years and years, it's no longer about the actual sun, but it's about that idea of worship when it gets built into culture, and time goes on, and then that's how you get all these gods, all these different gods in all these different religions, like, and then maybe the God that we worship, like the one God, maybe he's just like them all clumped together, because I don't really see the difference between him and them in terms of what he does. He does the same things that they apparently did, sort of thing. And then that's just my angle from why I don't believe in God. Like, I understand him, I don't have a beef or anything with God, but I just don't think he's as real as like a person sitting on a throne in heaven.
So that reminds me of the quote, it doesn't matter which faith you have as long as you have have faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very good. What do you? So you believe that God is a man-made idea?
Yeah.
That we had beliefs, and over time, all those beliefs merged into one idea called God, the Almighty Creator.
Yeah, and it kind of makes more sense because there's no need to have thousands of gods. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could just have one god. That actually makes probably more sense than having a god of fire and a god of wood. And do you know what I mean? Like, that's silly. Like, there's just God.
Well, I believe there's God. I believe that there's if you look around you, there's more evidence that there's God than there isn't. For example, like, our beings were made out of 3 parts, right? Do you agree with that? But first of all, do you agree with that we're made out of 3 parts?
What do you mean?
Spirit, soul, body.
Go on. I'll let you finish.
So we're 2/3 spirit. So we're 2/3 of what we cannot see. So spirit and soul is what I'm focusing on mostly. Yeah. So like, we have emotions. We have the capacity to feel anger, to express love, and I don't believe that those feelings or emotions are just there. If that makes sense. Like, even if you look at your fingerprint, like, all of us here, none of us have the same fingerprint. If you get what I mean, like, how is that possible? It's some sort of, either there's some sort of divine engineer, or like, I know people say the Big Bang and whatnot, but I can't believe in the Big Bang simply because of what I just mentioned. Like, so he wants to say something.
I would just like to say, you believe in the Big Bang. You can't believe in the Big Bang, but why is the Big Bang so? Why can't you? Because maybe the Big Bang explains how God created the universe. Did you ever think about that?
No, there is.
Why do they always have to be? Why does the Big Bang always have to be adversarial to religion? Why can't the science and religion work together to find the answers?
It can, but those that do believe in the Big Bang don't believe that God caused the Big Bang in the first place.
Religion, like modern religion, like modern science, came out of actually religion. It was like religious people that actually created modern science, like, because they knew God made everything. They just wanted to know how things worked and stuff like that. But to answer your question about like the whole fingerprint thing, like, we all have different faces. Like, everyone in the world has different faces. Like, so why is the fingerprint so special when everyone else has different faces? Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone is different, and there's billions of people, and there's been billions of people. So your fingerprint could be the combination of your parents' fingerprints, for example. Like, no one ever thinks about it like that, because it would be unique to you, and then etc. etc.
That's my point, that this is not an accident, if you know what I mean. If everybody's got a different face, everybody's got a different fingerprint, how do you explain that being an accident?
Well, we know that like numbers are really high. Like, we know that you could get a computer to count forever, and so each number is unique, 1, 2, 3, 4, like, forever. So you could just keep having a continuation of different variations of the same thing, which we are, for as long as humans exist.
First of all, I just want to say, atheists and Christians have something in common. Wait. I'm not. I didn't say you're an atheist. I'm just saying they believe in something. Christians believe in God. Atheists, some, not all of them. I'm not generalizing. They believe in nothing. But what if God and nothing are two of the same thing, but just called something different? Because really and truly, we cannot see God, and when we express something that's nothing, we can't see nothing. So therefore, could they be the very same thing that we're talking about? Another thing, when we're talking about how amazing, fingerprints are, and talking about stones and how trees grow, how plants grow, the very details of how animals mate and stuff like that, don't you find that amazing? When you actually go into detail of these kind of conversations, don't you find them amazing? And I think we miss the point when we don't go into detail about talking about the things that are here, right under our noses.
When I say I understand God, but I don't believe in God, what I mean is I don't believe in the God in religion, like the God who says I'm gonna kill those people, but I'm gonna save those people. You know, I'm gonna bless you, but I'm not gonna bless this person who needs a blessing. Like, I don't believe in that God. I don't believe in the personified God that we've given him all of our human qualities to try and justify ourselves feeling better. Like, I don't believe, if God does exist, I don't think he's anything like what we think. Like, I think he's, I don't know, a scientist who just did something and then things went into motion and this is how things are, and we're like, oh my God, God bless me because I won the lottery, where that's just random numbers being pulled out, stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of God that I think religion relies a lot on to manipulate people. But yeah, that's not the kind of God that I believe in.
So you said you don't believe in the God that says bless those people and don't bless those people. But obviously, if you're gonna even just take certain aspects of religion, that means you've been partially influenced by them. How do you know the parts that are influencing you are the right ones? Because at the beginning of every religion, it was passed down orally, and everyone put in their own interpretation. For example, have you done an experiment where you sit in a circle and you pass on a message by whispering in the ear, and when the message gets back to you, the message is different? It can be a completely different one or slightly different. So how do you know you're not really following a true religion, or the right aspects you've chosen to follow are actually correct?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm not religious, but I understand that religion has its purpose. We created religion for that purpose, to give ourselves like that guide. And because it is written down, it's there written down. It's not Chinese whispers anymore. It's like written down. So actually, it's probably more stable now than maybe it was back then for that reason. But just because we made it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I don't see it as a bad thing. Like, obviously people misinterpret it, or not even like they use it and abuse it, whatever. I don't think like just because you don't believe in, you know, Christianity, or because you're not a Christian or whatever, means that you have to cut off everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just silly, because that's not how life is. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because, I don't know, some people weren't born in this country and they come to this country and they learn English, but they're not English, doesn't mean that they can't speak it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just how society is. Like, we do things to try and make ourselves better and move forward and make our lives better. And I think religion, for a lot of people, does that for them. And that's why I think religion is a good thing, for me anyway.
Yeah, you have a good point, but there's one thing I want to bring up. For example, King James I, you know him, he actually has his own Bible. He wrote a scripture of the Bible, and he also believed in the king's touch, like the royal touch, like he was God's chosen representative on earth, like the royals. So any king or queen was God's chosen representative on earth. He had the power to heal people, touch people and heal. And so you say, since it's written down, there's people can't abuse it or misuse it, but people have already, you know, added their own interpretations and used it to empower themselves. So are you sure that's the right way to look at it?
Like I said, so I would read that and I'd be like, well, nah, that's not for me. Like, if in the Bible, for example, it says, I don't know, thou shalt not think, what's a commandment? Give me a commandment, anyone.
Not kill.
Alright, so thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
But people will kill in the name of God and say, well, I'm killing this person because, do you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something that people find a way around. Like, so I don't believe in killing people. I think killing people is kind of a bad thing. And that, like, my growing up, the first time I heard about that was from religion, and then obviously we put it in our laws and stuff like that, and it works out good. That's a good thing. Like, do you know what I mean? So just because I don't believe in another thing, like I don't believe that Jesus walked on water, doesn't mean that I don't think that you should kill people, because that's also in the Bible as well.
Yeah, you got some interesting points there. Very interesting. Another thing I want to ask you guys that I think is important to talk about with regards to religion is, what are your views on heaven and hell? Do you think it's a real place, or do you think it's a metaphoric saying?
Do I believe it's a real place or metaphoric saying? I believe they're real places. I do really believe they're real places, simply because, like I said before, we're more spiritual than physical as human beings. So the physical aspects are obviously created to be here on Earth, which we're on right now. So then, what happens to the other two aspects of our beings? Is hell made for human beings? No, I don't think so. I don't think hell is a punishment, or hell is a place where that was created for us being bad or committing a sin or whatnot. I don't believe that. But I do believe that once we make our decision and say we didn't, I'm not saying like you're going to hell or anything. Let's just get that. I'm not saying if you don't believe in God you're going to hell. I'm not saying that because I don't want to pass judgment like that. But I know a lot of religions will scream that if you don't believe in our God, you're going to go to hell. So that's not what I'm saying to you guys. But I do believe that hell was created for Satan first and foremost, and those that choose to follow that side. So when you ask the question, do I believe in heaven? There's a heaven and a hell? Yes, I do believe there's a heaven and a hell. Yeah.
So I just want to say, not all denominations of Christianity believe in hell. For example, Jehovah's Witnesses, their version of hell is just like a flame. So you go there and you're instantly neutralized, wiped out from existence. It's not eternal torture or suffering. So there's different ideas of hell. Not everyone thinks of hell as, demons, pitchforks, eternal suffering, but there's different ideas, and some of those ideas are just instant deaths.
Hair or whatever. So I can understand that they could exist. I don't know if they do. So I'm not against, heaven and hell. I don't think that's just a made up stuff. But once again, people have taken heaven and hell and they've added their little sauce on it. Like, hell is a bad thing. I can understand that if you have a bad energy about you, bad vibes, nobody likes that. So if you stay like that your whole life, you go to hell. And then if you have a good vibe, you go to heaven. So I can understand those being two opposite states of, who you are as a person, your being. But do I think they exist? I don't know, but I'm not against them. I actually think that kind of helps people kind of stay
in check.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it does. There are people that literally live their lives wanting to get to heaven, and so they try and live their lives righteous. And then there are some people who just don't care. And then we say you're going to go to hell, and then they're like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll go to hell. So yeah, I kind of get it, but I don't think they're like physical places where you go and you wear white. There's nice fluffy clouds and fire and stuff like that. Those are physics-based things.
Yeah, I'd also like to counter that. I'd also like to counter that. How you says it keeps people in check. Like, people want to go to heaven, people don't want to go to hell. Do you think that's a symbol of control?
Yeah.
For example, let's say I'm at my house and I don't want you to go in my bedroom because I got a ton of cash in there. So I tell you, Nathan, if you go in my bedroom, you'll go straight to hell. You'll spend 1,000 years in there getting tortured. You're not going to go in there, are you? Because you're too scared. Because I've mentally programmed you that if you go into that room, you're going to fall to hell. So I've instilled terror in you. That's a pretty extreme metaphor. I know, but you get the idea, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I think religion is. It's like a life manual. Like, here's how you should live your life. And that's why I said I don't prescribe to any specific religion, because there are those, don't go in my room or you go to hell. There's like a lot of that. But there's also stuff like, you can stay in the kitchen though and have some food. Like, it's cool in there, just chill there instead, sort of thing. I do think religion does control people. I do think people need to be controlled, just like, you have your kids, you don't let them run around, you tell them to sit down, innit? Yeah. So it's just, we're like kids to these people that created religion, want to control us.
So I'm just going to take my Christian thinking cap off, and yeah, I agree with Nathan with people do need to be controlled, because I got some sort of control is needed, because could you imagine where there's no laws, no nothing, like it'll be chaos.
Yeah.
Like completely chaos. Like the metaphor that Nathan gave about kids, you wouldn't let your child just run around do whatever the heck they want. There's going to be some element of control in it. If they do something wrong, you're going to discipline them. If they do something right, you reward them or praise them or some sort of thing. So I don't think all control is a bad thing. It kind of keeps it's like it's needed in life.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe it. But otherwise it will be mayhem.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing against religion. I think it's good, it's very handy. In terms of heaven and hell, I don't know what it is for sure, but I feel like it's a state of mind as well, because there can be certain mindsets we have that are unhealthy to our surroundings, and certain mindsets we have that are very healthy to our surroundings, based on obviously how we see things, and I guess how we embrace things and love things. Like Jesus said, God is love. So I think if you put purpose in love itself, then you're gonna see a whole change in how you see things,